Well, can you tell me a few final things about beings from other worlds before we end? What do they wear? How do they communicate? And please don't say this is still all about idle curiosity. I think I've demonstrated that there may be something we can learn here.
All right. Briefly, then. In highly evolved cultures, beings see no need to be clothed, except when some kind of covering is required to protect them from elements or conditions over which they have no control, or when ornaments are used to indicate some rank or honor. A Heb would not understand why you wear total body coverings when you do not have to. She certainly wouldn't understand the concept of shame or modesty, and could never relate to the idea of coverings to make oneself prettier. To a Heb, there could be nothing more beautiful than the naked body itself, and so the concept of wearing something on top of it to somehow render it more pleasing or attractive would be utterly incomprehensible. Equally incomprehensible would be the idea of living, spending most of one's time in boxes, which you call buildings and houses. Hebs live in the natural environment and would only stay inside a box if their environment became inhospitable, which it rarely does, since highly evolved civilizations create, control, and care for their environments. Hebs also understand that they are one with their environment, that they share more than space with their environments, but also share a mutually dependent relationship. A Heb could never understand why you would damage or destroy that which is supporting you, and so can only conclude that you do not understand that it is your environment which supports you, that you are beings of very limited observational skills. As for communication, a Heb uses as his first level of communication the aspect of his being which you would call feelings. Hebs are aware of their feelings and the feelings of others, and no attempt is ever made by anyone to hide feelings. Hebs would find it self-defeating and therefore incomprehensible to hide feelings and then complain that no one understands how they feel. Feelings are the language of the soul. Highly evolved beings understand this. It is the purpose of communication in a society of Hebs to know each other in truth. A Heb therefore cannot and could never understand your human concept called lying. To be successful in getting one's way by communicating an untruth would be for a Heb a victory so hollow as to render it not a victory at all, but a staggering defeat. Hebs do not tell the truth. Hebs are the truth. Their whole beingness comes from what is so and what works, and Hebs learned long ago in a time beyond memory when communication was still accomplished through guttural utterances that untruth does not work. You have not yet learned this in your society. On your planet, much of society is based on secrecy. Many of you believe it is what you keep from each other, not what you tell to each other, that makes life work. Secrecy has thus become your social code, your code of ethics. It is truly your secret code. This is not true of all of you. Your ancient cultures, for instance, and your indigenous people do not live by such a code, and many individuals in your present society have refused to adopt these behaviors. Yet your government runs by this code, your business is adopted, and many of your relationships reflect it. Lying about things large and small has become so accepted by so many that they even lie about lying. Thus you have developed a secret code about your secret code. Like the fact that the emperor is wearing no clothes. Everybody knows it, but nobody's talking about it. You even try to pretend it's not so. And in this, you are lying to yourself.
You've made this point before.
I'm repeating in this dialogue the essential points, the main points you must get if you truly are to change things, as you say you wish to. And so I will say it again. The differences between human cultures and highly evolved cultures is that highly evolved beings, 1, observe fully, 2, communicate truthfully. They see what works and say what's so. This is another tiny but profound change which would immeasurably improve life on your planet. And this is not, by the way, a question of morals. There are no moral imperatives in a Heb society, and that would be a concept equally as puzzling as lying. It is simply a matter of what is functional, of what brings benefit. Ultimately, all real communication is about truth, and ultimately the only real truth is love. That is why when love is present, so is communication. And when communication is difficult, it's a sign that love is not fully present.
That is beautifully put. I must say, beautifully communicated.